Hi friends, I'm doing a little training video. So what happened is I'm working on this stack that's backwards, and I found, a whole box of Love That Money and a whole box of Big Daddy. So the first thing I did was I went over to Big Daddy because the English hasn't been color coded yet. And I got out the Big Daddy. Big Daddy was on purple. That's green. So I got the Big Daddy. Somebody had sent us a box. I put it in the proper color because Bewitched is not pink. It's orange. So that'll all be fixed. But so we praise the Lord for the people that did this. I prayed for people that knew the alphabet, and it was the what was the name of the family? But a sister church of ours, they came up with all their kids, and they all knew the alphabet. Because I was just praying for somebody that knew the alphabet. So I unloaded a box of Big Daddy into the Big Daddy. And then the next box that I found was, so this here, some of the guys, they came in from the ministry and they unloaded and they just stuck it there. So here, library, here's my library books. As if the librarian could work nonstop. So then I found the love story was in a maroon crate. So I changed it to red. And this is Love That Money. But what happened is when I got this out, I went to Love the Jewish People, that isn't what was there. What was there was this. And that's backstock of Love the Jewish People. It doesn't have a label. It's backstock. And so when somebody comes to the ministry, what I really hope and pray that people understand is that these things don't go. You don't take this to the ministry. This is like the library crate. And you don't take this or the librarian is going to hurt you. And so it says, Love the Jewish People. It has the label. And look, they're all labeled. They're ready to go. And we only fill them in the library crates to this tall so that when we file them and we put them away, we find more, we stick them right in there. There's room. So this is a backstock because it's all the way to the top. There's no room to put anything in there. There should be no backstock if you have one that's like this. And if you wanted to take some for the ministry, take what you need. And then I'll go, oh, we're out. We need this sticker more. But don't take the crate. Okay? So that's really funny because sometimes the nation of Israel, when they had enemies, their enemies, this is not anything to do with that, but their enemies would be afraid of them. And one time there was this big war. It was an unwinnable battle. And what God did for the nation of Israel is he got into the heads of the enemy and just made them so afraid that they were like, oh, they got like a sudden case of paranoia and they ran. They were big enough to beat them, but they just ran, And so it's so hilarious because that happened to me once, that I was fasting and praying and, Well, there was somebody that was my enemy that wanted me dead, and they weren't in their right mind, and they wanted me dead. And instead of them killing me, God made them afraid of me. And they're like, oh, I'm afraid of her. And so I was like, wow, where can you find this in the Bible? Because you can find, like, everything that ever happens to you, you can find it in the Bible. And so that has happened before here. Like, how do you tell who your enemies are? How you tell who your enemies are is if somebody is inexplicably suddenly afraid of you, like, oh, I'm afraid of this person. You know that just like the nation of Israel, that person, I can't find my box cutter. No, I've lost it. So you know that person is your enemy. You're like, aha, I've been through this before. So like some crazy person will come along and they'll be like acting like they're afraid of me. And I'll be like, that's your enemy. You know, that's how you know who your enemies are. So then I take them off backwards, like, and I set them backwards, and then I put them on in the same way. So this is lookout, and I just happened to have saw a bunch of lookouts somewhere. So I might I know I saw lookouts. So if you come here, like there's some Russian Bibles, they aren't stacked. They're stacked too high. So they are not stacked so that you could, that's why nobody can put anything on top of here, because they put 3 more Bibles in here that could fit, and then look what happened to it. It's like, that's bad. So these 3 go in the back, and then I'll be able to, and those go in a different crate. And they put those Bibles in the same crate as the English Whole Bible color. Well, that makes it harder to find. So we want to pick a different color for that. So I know I saw Lookout. There's It's Good For You. It's Good For You is here because it's new, and it's going to have to wait till there's room. But it's very strange because I know I saw a bunch of Lookout. But there's this. That's CDs. Like somebody will give us their CDs, and what's that? Oh, that's Humbug. So like a lot of times, I know I saw Lookout. Like this was a bunch of Why Is Mary Crying? And so all this needs to be filed in W and L. So there's only one thing per crate. So this whole thing needs to be filed. And this is example of that needs to be filed. It looks like, and this is something we can't even keep in stock that we run out of. So we definitely want to file Charlie's Ants but that is an example of another one that needs to be filed. So if somebody comes to volunteer, it's easy to file the big ones, and you can file the mixed crates. Wow, I can't believe I had found Lookout. There was a bunch of Lookout, but Oh no. Okay, so, oh wow. Then that drives you nuts when you see some lookout that was and then you're like, oh, I need to file those lookout, and then you don't see them. Aha. So this is a mixed crate. This comes, people buy them from Chick, and they want to send us crates, and they send us a bunch. So there's probably more lookout in there. It's mostly Spanish. And we've got a superstar, which we need for World Cup soccer that's still going on. So I knew there, so for example, in this lookout, there's only 2. And so when I put that in there, now there's 3 in there. So found a superstar. That's really important to have now. And there's a label on each side. Now we started to label them on all 4 sides, but there's one label on these. So there's one label on this, but somebody put it backwards. So you mean to tell me that I have to take all of these down because you don't understand that the label goes on the front? No, somebody help me. And so, let's see, superstar. Here we go. There's superstar. And you just file it. So I found these Charlie's Ants, and I could have done that alphabetical, but there's foreign mixed. So you see that? That's mixed. So you could come here and it would take probably a person a day to file that. And if you're not the kind of person that likes to pass out tracts, you'd rather stay by the stuff, you can part alike with these brave Bible believers. Oh, here's another thing. This is wrong. Let me explain how. Okay, we put them in this way, and when we need them, we pull them out this way. So whoever put them in that way, it makes it hard to get because I've got to reach in there, then I've got to turn them and flip them. That's harder. So I won't fix it now, but they go in this way and they go in that way, and then all of them should be facing that way. So what I would just do is I would turn it, and then I would take the tag off and put the tag on the right way. So let's see all of them that were incorrect, like the bully. It's going sideways. It shouldn't be going sideways. It should be going this way so that you can easily take it out. So that's something that needs to be fixed. This, for example, you say, oh, there's the superstar. And you can, there's more Love the Juice people. I have to start another crate because I don't want to overload the crate that's there so that we can still file. We want to leave room so we can, if we file any loose ones, say that was Love the Jewish People if we had loose ones. So if I have loose superstars, I don't worry about putting them together in a rubber band. I just go like that. And there you go. You've just filed. And then when we get it out, we'll rubber band it, at that time when we need it. So basically, that's, I guess, my TED Talk. So see, this is mixed. It's a bunch of different mixed, ready to be. So anyway, so this is like the crisis, and you put it away. And this is really fun. James Nicoletto thought of this. He took a tool, because some of the men have bigger hands, and strategically he's figured out that if you take a tool and if you cut just there, and there, it's big enough for the biggest man to get in, and he says it does not hurt the integrity of the crate. He didn't do it on any other side, but just the one side. And that's an idea if a man wanted to, do that and then file the edges maybe, then that's like super fancy. Anyone can get in there. And so that's the crisis. And we have to be able to get in there, because that's a very good track for Jehovah False Witnesses. And so, well, that's what I wanted to train the ladies that are going to be helping, or whoever's watching. And God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.